Kind of just been talking to the manager about Christmas football, and we talk a lot about how many games there are in how many days and the workload and all of that. Do you have to look at it as a good thing? Do you have to look at it as an opportunity? And I guess there's a lot of a footballer's career where you don't play football, where you wish you were. Do you have to try and put that positive spin, although I'm sure physically and mentally it is difficult?
Yeah, I think for me anyways, it's definitely a positive. I think with the amount of games, it's definitely a good thing. There's opportunities to play, there's opportunities to pick up loads of points. And yeah, for me, I think the Christmas period is probably one of the most exciting periods as a footballer, just because of the opportunity there is to play games.
People sort of out there in the real world doing proper jobs might get a break at this time of year and might go and watch the football. I guess you don't know any different, do you, when you're a young footballer and you've come up through the ranks of an academy? Has it just been normality for you?
Yeah, I think so. Like I was saying before, I think for the last 4 years I've been in on Christmas Day, so I feel like when someone says you're training on Christmas Day, it doesn't feel any different. It just feels like normal. So no, I think the Christmas period for me, it's never really been a time to relax and just chill out. It's always been a time to play football and go and enjoy yourself.
Is enjoying it quite important whenever you play? There are players in this squad, there are players in teams across the country that I think if you see them with smiles on their faces and enjoying their work, that tends to make a difference. Is that what you find?
Yeah, I think so. I think football in general, I think the whole reason you play it as a kid is to enjoy it. Otherwise you wouldn't really play it if you're young, and I think from there everyone keeps that enjoyment, and it's only the same now. When I play, I enjoy every minute of it.
Has it been, from a Stanley perspective, more enjoyable in the last couple of months, in the sense that the form, notwithstanding a couple of defeats recently, has been a lot better?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's a no-brainer. I think when you win games, you enjoy it more than when you lose games. But with that said, obviously we've lost the last two, and I think because we had the good run, we haven't got down about it, so we can still enjoy our football. And I think it's a great opportunity on Boxing Day to go and try and get back on them winning ways.
Yeah, back-to-back home games, especially when, I know it ended with that Bromley game, but recently the home form has been pretty strong. How much are you all excited by the chance to potentially take 6 points over those two games?
Yeah, I think it's two great games, especially obviously at home, which is where I think you want to be around the Christmas period. I think you want to play at home as much as you can, so you don't have to travel all the time. So I think it's perfect. It's a great opportunity to go and win two games, like you said, get 6 points and hopefully move up the table.
We talk a lot these days about a squad game and about players having to be ready at all times. How much are you finding that from personal experience at the minute? There are times when you're starting, there are times you're on the bench, there have been occasions when you've not been in the squad. How much do you have to play the long game and look at the bigger picture if you get a disappointment like that?
Yeah, it's important to try and stay level-headed. I think last season when I was dropped, I think I felt down and made my head be down, and when I was out the squad I couldn't understand why, and maybe that got me down. But this season, I said as soon as I was back for injury, I felt different. And after a few games, I was out the squad. But I remember thinking, I'll get back in the squad at some point, and I'll get my chance at some point. And I've had to wait, but I think now, hopefully, I'm going to start playing more, and hopefully, when I get my shirt, I can keep it.
Do you think an injury layoff contributes towards that change of perspective? The fact that you're not able to play and you're not able to contribute at all, does that change your way of thinking about it at all?
I think definitely, yeah. I think the injury for me, although an injury is never a good thing, I think it was a positive thing mentally. It gave me a reset, and it gave me a chance to actually think about what happened in the season and what I want to happen in the upcoming season, the one we're in now. And I think that reset has helped me going forward, definitely mentality-wise.
What is it like as one of the remaining guys who's come through the system? And I remember talking to Alex Henderson a few weeks ago about that connection that you feel like you've got with the supporters. You're from the area, you've come through the ranks kind of thing. Does that add pressure, or is that something you quite enjoy, the fact that it just feels like there's a little bit more of a cheer when you come on the pitch or when you do something or whatever it might be?
I don't think it adds pressure. I think it adds more enjoyment and home feel. I feel like when I go to training, I don't feel like I'm going to training. And when I go to games, especially at home, it doesn't feel like that. It just feels like I'm meant to be there. You feel like you belong, and it's kind of like a sense of home when you're here, rather than going to work or going to play football type thing.
Yeah, that must be quite nice. I guess if you enjoy your work, they say you've probably never worked a day in your life. Does it feel a bit like that?
Yeah, I think we're all living the dream, all as footballers. Maybe we don't say it as much as we should, but definitely is everything we've always wanted to do when we were young, and the fact that we can do it now, and especially for me, for my hometown, the team I've always played for, yeah, it's a dream country.
Just with a group of younger players, of which you are one, who are getting older, maturing, getting more experienced, do you think we're starting to see a bit more depth in this squad? With respect, in previous seasons, maybe we'd have been looking at an 18 or a 19-year-old coming in to play a few games. Now the likes of yourself and Alex Henderson and guys like that have got lots and lots of senior appearances. Does that add to the strength in depth?
Yeah, I think obviously we lost the academy, unfortunately, but I think when the academy was there, I think that's what it was for, to bring young lads through. So when they're 18, 19, you can play a few games, but then when they're 20, 21, they're ready to play every single game and be counted on when they're needed. And I think we're at the stage now where me, Hendo, Dan, whoever, we're all ready to play every game if asked.
And I suppose there are younger players, less experienced players coming in, whether that's from the club's academy, which is obviously no longer there, or whether they're coming from outside. Do you find your roles are starting to change? Do you find you're starting to be able to pass on a bit of experience to younger players, or less experienced players in some cases?
Yeah, I think maybe I'm probably still too young to be the one to go and give them advice, but if I can help them, then I'll help them in any way. Obviously there's Anjola, Finn, Josh, there's younger lads than me now, but they're all pretty experienced in their own rights for going on loan, and they're all getting men's football, and they're all good players in their own right, so I don't think I need to be the one to go and tell them things.
But I guess it's a lead by example thing, is it? If you conduct yourself, you talk about your mentality changing, if you can set that example, that can only be good.
Yeah, definitely. If I do things right, and the same for everyone else, if all the experienced lads do things right, I'm going to catch off them, and so therefore the younger lads, they can use me as someone to look up to, someone to try and copy.
What do you think this squad's capable of? Because you're in this slightly strange place where you've got a decent cushion to the bottom two, you're a few wins away from being in contention, sort of in the top 10 kind of thing. Could it be potentially a very important period this next couple of weeks to decide where you're going to be fighting?
Yeah, definitely. I think there's no limit to what we're capable of. I think if things go your way, obviously we can go up the table, but we've seen before, if things don't go your way, it can soon go the other way. So I think we've got to be on guard at all times and make sure every single point matters, and don't take for granted where we are, because we know that things can change, either good or bad, pretty quickly.
I don't imagine it's particularly enjoyable being in a relegation battle like you were last year until probably the penultimate game of the season. Is that something everybody's keen to avoid, to keep that gap nice and big?
Yeah, definitely. I think in any season you don't want to be down there, but especially after the season we had last year where we was down there too often and we constantly felt like we were always in that battle, we want to get away from that as soon as possible and start looking upwards and start enjoying ourselves, like I was saying before.